Alright, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is the Friday Night Magic event, which is going to be the Artisan event. So essentially, commons and uncommons only for this one. It's going to only be around for 24 hours, but, you know, we're going to make the most of it. I think I'm probably going to do 2 videos on the Artisan, so stay tuned tomorrow for another of this particular format. If you do enjoy it, obviously, then that's going to be good for you. But other than that, I've got some stuff in the backlog lined up that I think the rest of you will definitely appreciate anyway. So yes, it's going to be Artisan, standard Artisan specifically, so there's a few cards in here that are notably banned. Zenith Flare from the Cycling deck, Cauldron Familiar because it's a degenerate deck, Gates Ablaze for the Gates deck, yeah, and Healer's Hawk from, I'm assuming, like the Flyers deck. They want to keep that one down. But yeah, nothing really new here as far as the bans are concerned. So you should really expect to see what we saw prior to this event coming up, which is basically disinformation campaign decks working at full throttle. And also shrines from M21 are going to be popping up. So, we're going to be playing around with a gain 3 life kind of deck. So, we're going to be building around the Griffin Aerie 2 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, you get to create a 2/2 white Griffin creature token with flying. So, this is going to be one of our primary win cons. We're going to be gaining 3 life, so we want to leverage everything that can really benefit from that. There's a few from M21, actually, that allow us to do that. One of them being the Indulgent Patrician, 3 mana 1/4 with flying and lifelink, so pretty decent at blocking the Flyers decks, but also mono red and things like that. The 4 toughness is going to be really good, as well as the lifelink as well. And at the beginning of our end step, if we gain 3 life, our opponent loses 3 life. So all of our life gain triggers are now going to be pseudo burn spells with the Patrician out. We also have Silver Smoked Ghoul as well, a 3 mana 3/1, which actually returns from our graveyard to the battlefield if we've gained 3 or more life this turn. So we can throw these guys under the bus, sacrificing them perhaps to draw cards if we know that we're going to get them back on our end step. So, as far as gaining life is concerned, also Primate's in here, because pretty much every single card in this deck gains life, so we should be able to trigger him. I don't think he's going to quite trigger in the way that a Soul Sister style deck would do. They can definitely make this card work a lot more efficiently than we can, but it just felt like it was a perfect fit for the list anyway, so I went ahead with it. But yes, as far as enabling the gain life triggers, we've got a fair few options here. Light of Hope is going to be one of them. I actually think this card is probably decently well positioned in Artisan. We can, 1, use it to benefit ourselves. The 1 white mana to gain 4 life will trigger the Griffin Aerie and make us our 2/2s, trigger our Primate, and bolt our opponent and reanimate our creatures. But also, destroying an enchantment should be really solid in a format like this, where the best deck in the format is a disinformation campaign enchantment deck, essentially. We should be able to take care of that and stop them from chaining things together. I mean, alternatively, the third option to give a counter is a thing we can do. We can make a 3/3 perhaps with the Griffin Aerie. I don't know if we'd ever want to do that, but, you know, just having this on 2 modes and both of them being relevant in the format seems pretty decent to me. We also have Village Rites as well, so if we are producing an excess amount of Griffins with this Aerie enchantment, then we can actually use Village Rites to sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. We can also do this in response to our opponent's removal as well, so we can fizzle their removal and draw 2 cards. It's going to be just fine, you know. I just want to be able to churn through the deck and find multiple Aeries, because if we can gain 3 life and make 2 2/2 white Griffin creature tokens with flying, then that's going to be pretty sweet. We can also find our removal spells of choice, which are going to be Heartless Act and Eliminate. Eliminate from M21 destroys a creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less, so it's going to hit pretty much all the things you'd want it to hit. Narset is going to be one of them, which stops us from drawing cards and makes some of our options like Revitalize a little bit worse. So we get to kill Narset with Eliminate. We also get to kill things like Pridemate and the 3 mana Pridemate as well, if they're going with the black-white version. I think a lot of the really good creatures are going to be susceptible to the eliminate, but if they're not, then we've got the hard removal with the Heartless Act. We're going for obviously a nice 4-4 split here, because I think Heartless Act is pretty decent. I've looked over the card pool to find certain creatures that would have counters on them, and there aren't a great deal of them outside of things like Ajani's Pridemate and the Vampire I mentioned that also has the Pridemate's gain life trigger. So short of those, this is going to hit pretty much everything. When we go back to discussing the Disinformation Campaign deck as well, there is one creature that comes to mind, and that is the blue-black, I think he's a spirit or something like that. It's 4 mana and it's incredibly annoying. Night Veil Predator, Flying Death Touch, and Hexproof. The Hexproof being the most annoying part there, and the fact that it blocks our Griffins very easily. That's why we're actually going to be running Consume. Consume is a 4-mana sorcery. It makes our opponent sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control, and we gain life equal to its power. So again, we make them sacrifice this, getting around the Hexproof. We gain 3 life, and we trigger our Aerie, which is going to be pretty good. The only thing I'm a little concerned about against that particular list, the Disinformation Campaign list, is that I think they run 4 copies of Cry of the Carnarium, which is not something we can really play around necessarily, but that's another reason why Village Rites, I think, is pretty solid in this list, just to make sure that we can at least get some value out of our Griffins before they bite the dust. But yeah, we've got Revitalize to gain 3 and draw. It's just going to enable the Griffin Aerie and the Patrician and obviously the Silver Smoke Ghoul just nicely, and yeah, we're going to hope to grind them out with big creatures, wide creatures, lightning bolting creatures. You know, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, if you do enjoy the content and you want to see more of it, let me know down in the comment section below. But other than that, hit that like button, subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel a great deal. Would greatly appreciate everyone do so. And yeah, let's get to it, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, we are in, and it sounds an odd one. I think we can keep it on the strength of Eliminates alone. I'm not in love with it though, but we'll give it a shot. I'm just going to have to hope that Eliminate's actually a useful card in this matchup, and Venerable Knight suggests to me that it probably is. So we just like White Weenie. Okay. So we're going to take 2, and our opponent's going to play a Loyal Pegasus. Yeah, this just looks like White Weenie to me. Alseed is quite annoying. We could kill it with a Light of Hope had we drawn any white mana, but considering that we haven't, here we are. Yeah, we should probably just kill the Loyal Pegasus, I guess. If we kill the Venerable Knight, they get to put the counter on something, and if we wait until they untap for combat, they'll use the Alseed, so while the Pegasus has to attack with something, it's not really a problem for them. And Heraldic Banner, yeah, this is almost assuredly White Weenie. And opponent's going to get in, taking us to 13. I could do with drawing a white source. No. Okay. Well, we'll pass the turn. We'll force them to crack their Alseed when we go after the Venerable Knight. I mean, perhaps they just let it go and turn the Alseed into a 3-1 or a 3-2. Or perhaps they just have the answer they need to not have to do any of that. Come on, white mana. It's probably too late, but white mana, please. Okay, let's try for better white mana, please. Let's get rid of the Loyal Pegasus, draw a card. And a non-game hits the stack and resolves. So we're going to 1. We can gain a little bit of life with the Light of Hope. Is it going to be enough, though? We'll do Ajani's Pridemate. Gain 1 life so we can block on the Alseed. Or if we can block the Venerable Knight, sorry, and Let the LC do its 2 damage. It's really all we've got to do. Got another fighter's one. No, okay. Loyal Pegasus, though. And a Heartless Act. Oh my. Okay, so kill the Alcide with a Light of Hope. I think there's potential we actually might stabilize here. And then they're gonna give it protection. We're gonna say no protection. Actually, we don't really need to because it can't attack or block alone. So unless they... yeah, we'll just let them do this. So that Pegasus is kind of stuck there. I can just use the Heartless Act to kill something else that might allow it to attack, essentially. So this 4-1 is a good example. Probably want to just kill that. So, destroy a creature with no counters on it. Loyal Pegasus goes back to not attacking for a turn. We draw more lands. Wish we could draw anything else. I don't want to die at 1. Please. After all we've been through. Don't kill me. I've got so much to live for. If only you'd let me. Alright, well. Let's gain 8 life. Still alive. I feel like that says a lot about this deck. That we're somehow dead. Okay, we just drew way too many lands. Okay, I'm not gonna really count this matchup as to whether or not this deck's good or bad, because that was horrific. But, I mean, towards the end there, we showed signs of actually being able to control and do things. If we'd have drawn a good card, I actually think we had a chance of winning, but we didn't. So, next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and yeah, it's fine, I guess. Is this fine? I think this is fine. We're gonna keep it. We've got lands, we've got a Revitalize that we can cast, now we've got an Eliminate we can use. Opponent with a Selesnya Guildgate. Perhaps they're playing Shrines? It would be a reasonable matchup. We might actually hold the Revitalize, to be honest. Ooh, Paradise Druid. Maybe Boggles? It could still be, yeah, it's probably still Shrines. Admittedly. Well, let's go with... it's between the Patrician and the Silver Smoke Ghoul. I'm leaning towards the Ghoul, actually, because we can Village Rites and Revitalize. And actually bring back the Ghoul. Circuitous Route. Alright. This would be our opportunity to kill the Paradise Druid, but I do think it's a little bit pointless at this stage. So they get to go pull some Gates. Remember, Gates Ablaze is banned, so... I mean, maybe they're just playing Gates. But, I don't know. Feels like you'd go for a Shrines deck of some sort, maybe. Alright, and then we're gonna go land, Silver Smoke Ghoul, and leave open Village Rites. It's not really something we can use to play around... yeah, definitely Shrines with a Thirst for Meaning. It's not something we can really play around Cry of the Carnarium, because Cry actually says whenever a creature would die, and there's our Shrine. It gets exiled, so if we Village Rites and sacrifice a Silver Smoke Ghoul, and then they play Cry of the Carnarium, it still counts the creature that's already died, and it'll be exiled from our graveyard on resolution, so... not quite the effectiveness we may have hoped for. I'm honestly fine with a land here, if we could draw one. Another Ghoul. Okay. Well, let's swing in with the Ghoul. 6 points of damage is no small amount. And they're going to go for the blocks, which I'm totally fine with. Into a growth spiral. Cannot escape that in any format. Alright. And then to get them back, we're going to go with the Revitalize. If we draw a land, we get to play the Patrician, but we had a tap land instead. And so we just get these ghouls back. Alright. Still not the worst. Going in with the Thirst for Meaning. It's gotta be where they start slapping down loads of shrines, surely. It's Gatebreaker Ram. Dies to eliminate. 10-10 going down with a 2-mana burn spell. 2-mana burn spell? Removal spell. Alright. Swing for 6. And it's a tough one. I actually think we'd maybe go with the Ghoul into the Pridemate. Because we can set up Revitalize Patrician, something like that. Almost certainly does not have burn spell, or board wipes in their deck. Maybe a Flame Sweep, but we get back our ghouls so easily through a Flame Sweep. We just play Revitalize. So we really don't have to worry. Another Gatebreaker Ram. Okay. Griffin Aerie. Yeah, we really just don't have to care about this Gatebreaker Ram, to be honest. So let's get swinging in. They'll block the Pridemate, presumably. And that's 6 points of damage. Let's see. Yeah, we do want to have the Paradise Druid die, I think. So we'll take them to 5. Play the Griffin Aerie. And Revitalize to make a Griffin and bring back our Silver Smoke Ghoul. Oh yeah. Alright, we take 11 from our 28. Going down to a nice and casual 17. And they should be dead here. Circuitous Route puts lands into the battlefield, not into their hands, so they can't use the Sanctum, and that would put them dead. Alright, well, we didn't find the actual key piece in this particular matchup, which was going to be our 1-mana life gain spell, which can actually kill shrines, but our opponent didn't actually really play any of them. They just played these wonderful Gatebreaker Rams, which we could answer perfectly instead. But yeah, we've teched quite nicely against this list. If we'd have drawn our Consume as well, we'd have gained 13 life, and I think our opponent would have just exploded on the spot if we'd have found that particular spell. But yeah, pretty good. Solid stuff. Alright, that's more like what the deck was trying to do. Alright, let's have a look-see. We've got a turn 2 Pridemate into an Indulging Patrician, or even a Light of Hope. I think this hand's fine. It's nice and low on the curve. We've got plays we can consistently make, I think, for many turns, just as long as we draw a third land anyway. Feel pretty confident I can draw a third land. It's not hard, right? Maybe we should have Heartless Act the Symbiote there, actually. I have kind of just noticed that my only removal spell is one that deals with things without counters. Yeah, let's kill the Symbiote now. Hope for a land next turn so we can play a Patrician or a Ghoul. Good stuff. Opponent holding up and potential counterspell mana, so we'll lead off with the Ghoul. They're not. It looks like a Mutate deck with a Symbiote and planning to grow creatures, I guess. Yeah, there's a Trumpeting Gnar. I was really hoping for a land so we can consume there. But didn't have that one, unfortunately. Let's get in for 3. And we'll go with the Patrician. We still really want that land. So maybe going for the Revitalize was better. If we can get the consume, then our opponent's mutate's not going to make too much of a difference. They are going to be able to make a beast token, I suppose, but if they do something like... because this is... Oh, this is power. So they'd need to make this a 4-powered creature, because this makes 3 3s. And if it's tied, they get to pick. Top, 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 top. Yes! Alright. Biggest mistake of your life, mister. Land. Oh. Oh, they'll do just fine, actually. I'm bad at magic. Alright, so let's swing in with the Silver Smote Ghoul. See if they want to trade off a beast. They do. That is fine. Because I will get it back. And we'll dig for a land. Nope. So we get flooded, and then we get mana screwed. Got it. Alright, so we ping our opponent. Because we gain 3. Got the eliminate now, which doesn't work on the Boneyard Lurker, but we're still looking for that 4th land for consume. Dreamtail Heron. Okay. Underneath. Good. Good, good, good. I think I might just Village Rites the Silver Smoke Ghoul here. To find that land. Yeah, I think we're almost assuredly going to do that. If I can guarantee that land, I'm getting back Silver Smoke Ghoul anyway. There it is. Alright. Now, Johnny's Pride, mate. We're not really going to have the time to do that. Let's get rid of their Powerhouse card. Gaining 4 to bring back the Silver Smoke Ghoul. And we'll get in for 1 as well. Because we can. Pinging with the Patrician. Bringing back the Ghoul and setting our opponent on 10. Our hand's looking very solid now. We should be able to kill pretty much anything our opponent plays. Beast tokens, solid. Symbiote, currently killable. And yeah, we've just got a lot of life-draining stuff. Migratory Greathorn. That actually gets a counter and makes it the biggest creature. For what it's worth. So if we were to draw... not a Heartless Act, I can tell you that much. Let's see. There is a combat step situation where I can kill that Greathorn. I just don't know if it's worth doing it. Let's go with the Ajani's Pride, mate. And I think we'll just gain 4 life here. So that'll trigger the Patrician. We can get in with that. We'll block with the Silver Smoke Ghoul, I suppose. Ping our opponent down to 8. Again, this is also your end step as well, so I can't use Light of Hope on our opponent's turn to gain that trigger. As cool as that may be. Does our opponent dare to commit to the same creature again? Of course they don't. Alright, it's actually going to be a bounce spell. Yeah. This is all pretty good. And bounce the Ajani's Pride, mate. Sure. You're a 5-drop. These eliminates. They're looking very bad. We will block with the Ghoul, though. Okay. And pass. You know, gaining 6 and killing a Shore Shark seems pretty good to me. Rinse and repeat, eh? Let's go up to 23. Might not be the best play, but it's the coolest play. Lightning Helix you. Get back our Ghoul. Another Symbiote. If they can keep mutating, those Symbiotes are going to be very annoying. And they've got a reach creature. Okay. Well, I could stop attacking. That is a big recluse. It's a big dead recluse. It's dead now. Let's see. We're gonna go Johnny's Pride Mate, Scoured Barons, I think. Gain that life, swing in, see if they want to trade with this symbiote. They do not, which is fine by me. We make a 4/4 on the Pride Mate, which can attack next turn from the Light of Hope. Go to 11. Our life total is not too much of an issue when we can gain it all back in a heartbeat. So, yeah, let's just... 4, 5, 6... Actually, if we use the Eliminate on the symbiote, and they don't have a way of killing our creatures, we just win. So we can gain 4 life here, pump the Pride Mate. Also triggers the Patrician as well. Taking them to 1. End step, dead. Sweet. Sweet. This deck's awesome. I love this deck. It occasionally seems to screw me on mana, but, you know, here we are. I flood, I screw. Occasionally I win. Well, it's actually mostly I win, actually, at this stage, but, you know, is what it is. Okay, we're in, and this hand looks solid. We got the Griffin Aerie on 2. Village Rights, we can sack some Griffins if we want, and we've got already 2 cards that can potentially trigger. This one guaranteed to trigger the Griffin Aerie. Pretty happy with this. Alright. Opponent leads off with an island. We hope that isn't counter magic, but you just never know, alright? Paradise Druid. Alright, well, if it was counter magic, it doesn't matter. If they are another Mutate deck and they actually mutate onto the Great Horn, we do have the Consume. It's probably going to be the biggest creature at that point, so it'll get right past that hexproof, should it come to it. Yeah, it is a Mutate deck. They won't be able to resist, surely, going onto the Paradise Druid. And I think we're going to let them. I think we're going to play the Griffin Aerie and let them set that up, because next turn we can Consume. It should be bigger than 2 power at that point. And the Consume will get us some Griffins and kill their biggest creature. That's my hope. That's my theory. Worst case scenario, that doesn't happen and we revitalize, make 2 Griffins anyway. Gonna go with the Gift of Paradise. Still could do 3 mana for the Migratory Greathorn, but it would make them not hexproof. Maybe they don't want to do that. And in which case, we can just revitalize and maybe Village Rights one of the Griffins to find more life gain. Alright, well, revitalize. We have now officially triggered our Griffins for the end step. And we'll start making some 2/2s. There they are. What say you, opponent? Pouncing Shore Shark. Alright, so what they're going to do here is they're going to try and bounce a token, which I will Village Rights in response. It's actually one of the reasons why I considered running this card as well, for situations like this where our opponent's going to get value anyway, but we can grasp a little bit of value right on back. This hand, it was looking good up until the point where we drew all these lands. 22 lands, by the way. But you know what it means, chat? It means that we're just going to draw gas from here on out. We've had our fill of very, very misfortunate draws. And now we're going to have the gas draws. Alright, so we're going to kill an Auspicious Starix and gain 6 here, which is great. We'll do that right now. Sack your Starix, please. Go up to 21. We will hold the Plains, potentially for the Season of Growth. Actually, do we want to? Yeah, let's kill the Season of Growth. Pretty much shuts off their card advantage. Symbiote is kind of card selection, being able to draw and discard, but it's not card advantage. Something that the Starix would also do very well at, so it's good to kill that particular mutate creature for them to just draw one anyway. Alright, so they get to mutate and look at the top card. We do not want to see another Starix, which is why they drew it. Good stuff. That is the only card we didn't want to see from them there. Well, I mean... what can you really do? I mean, we can Consecrate to draw a card and see if we can draw a Heartless Act. 9% chance of that happening. I can't really go Ghoul Sacrifice and open up that possibility. I guess I just kind of have to go with the Consume. I'm not going to really get the better value, unfortunately, so they can sack the unmutated Starix, which we will gain some Griffins from, which maybe is enough pressure if our opponent just draws lots of lands and no mutate creatures. So far, so good. Alright. Got Johnny's Pridemate. Well, we're going to swing for 8. I mean, we have that race potential, so we shouldn't really have to care too much about the Starix. It's just whether or not they'll get the ability to have reach. There is a Recluse that does that, so we don't want to see our opponent drawing into that kind of card. A Llanowar of Visionary to draw a card. Got the green open for that. That Mythic Recluse. It's just a Gift of Paradise, though. So we're probably just going to block with the Silver Smoke Ghoul and sack. And see if we can find a way of pumping our Pridemate and the rest of our board. We've got the Revitalize, so we can definitely do that. And the Heartless Act as well to kill the Starix. Absolutely insane draws. As I said, we've already had our fill of bad draws. It can only be good from here on out. Wow. Mutate's got no game on us. Hehehe. Alrighty then, let's have a look. See, this hand's an absolute sneaker, I think. Got the Griffin Aerie on 2, we got the Eliminate to kill whatever we want, and a decent enough mana base as well to enable this. Opponent with the Sweetwater Cliffs. Ooh, double Aerie. I'm wondering if this will be a Prowess deck from our opponent, perhaps? This is the deck that I plan on building for tomorrow, so we'll have to see. The pass makes me unhappy, so I'm going to go with the Silver Smoke Ghoul to see if they've got a counterspell. I'd rather have this in my graveyard than anything else. Frantic Inventory puts me on assuming that it is the Prowess list, which would not run counterspells. It could maybe run the flying one, the counter unless you pay 1, but 4 if you've got a flyer card. That's certainly a possibility. Let's get in for 3, see if we can get a shock out of our opponent, perhaps. And it's maybe a bit of a greed play, but I'm going to go for the Griffin Aerie here. Sweet. Alright. So now every time we gain life, Scorching Dragonfire, you would like to exile my ghoul, would you? How about Village Rites? Oh my god, that's so good. Oh. What now, opponent? Cultivate. Sure. We're going to go Ajani's Pridemate. Pridemate? We're going to go Ajani's Pridemate into a Light of Hope, gaining 2 of our beautiful Griffins, triggering the Pridemate and reanimating our wonderful boy. Actually, no, we'll probably go with a Revitalize. I suppose there's a chance that they have an enchantment, right, that we want to kill. Revitalize is just, you know, mana efficient. So, pump up that Pridemate and bring back lots of things that make that Scorching Dragonfire they have in their hand for Pridemate look pretty inadequate. Let's say it's inadequate. I wonder if maybe it's a Reclamation deck, actually. Wilderness Reclamation. Not a banned card. Oops. Apologies. My mouse has died, so we are kind of... Oh, we're not quite stuck on this screen. Notice they went for another frantic inventory there. It's pretty good when you can hit those. Indulging Patrician. Alright, well, we are going with the Patrician. I think we're going with the Light of Hope Scoured Barons here. So we can respond to a Scorching Dragonfire on the Pride Mate when they go for it here. If they don't have it right now, they can't kill the Pride Mate. Let's gain the 4 life, so we have an extra Pride Mate pump. He's up to a 5/5 now. We've got the 2 Griffins coming and a Patrician trigger for an extra 3 points of damage. And they need like a Flame Sweep and a removal spell for Pride Mate at this point. Otherwise they are pretty done. They've done nothing but play ramp spells, really. It's got to be a Wilderness Reclamation list. And they just didn't find it, I guess. Light of Hope was pretty good against the Wilderness Reclamation if we could have found a situation for it. But it turns out we just don't need to, because we built a wide enough board that our opponent couldn't stand it. But yeah, pretty solid. Alright, let's have a look-see. This hand looks okay. It's not great. It's a little slow. We're not really going to do anything until turn 3, but we have those life gain triggers anyway, and Consume can get rid of a pretty big creature if our opponent has that time. Gruul Guildgate, okay. Could be another Gates list. Maybe it's someone trying to build with shrines, or it's Gruul Aggro. Heartless Act. We could have drawn Eliminate, and that would have actually been a good card, but we didn't. So we are the Zertar Goblin gets to live instead, which is fine. I mean, we can block with the Silver Smoke Ghoul. Anax can die to the Heartless Act. We don't really care about the token, so we'll get rid of that. And yeah, I think we'll just play the Silver Smoke Ghoul to block the Zertar Goblin. Hope they don't have a Scorching Dragonfire, I guess, would be really bad for us. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're better than this. You're better than this. Domri's Ambush. Okay. Well, I'm going to consume the Zertar Goblin then and gain 4 and bring back the Ghoul. I think, honestly, 4/4 might be about as big as their creatures ever get. So let's bring back the Ghoul. We don't have to worry about the tokens, mostly because the Patrician should be able to block them just fine. And Johnny's Pride Mate. Yeah, I think we just go swing for 3. I think we just slam out the Pride Mate and the Patrician here. Set up for next turn. We want to make the most out of this Revitalize, and this is definitely one way to do it. We can attack with the Ghoul, sack the Ghoul. Ooh, okay. We do get to make that a 5/2 to kill the Patrician, which is unfortunate. We do get to fight, though, and we get a Pride Mate trigger. Yeah, Crawl Harpooner. It's not a card you see very often, but here it is. Do we want to eliminate it? I guess we want to Heartless Act it because we know about the Zertar Goblins. And Eliminate seems to get everything else in their deck. So, kill this creature that can block. Let's Revitalize to trigger the Pride Mate. We hope to draw a land, actually, because then we can sack the Ghoul and bring it back, but we didn't. Which is fine. We're at 21 against an aggro deck. And we've got a decent, well-established board state with removal and the opportunity to progress it further. Rampart Smasher. You know what? That's a big boy. So let's go with the Johnny's Pride Mate. Revitalize to try and get bigger than the Rampart Smasher. There's a Heartless Act. We need to kill it. Can't be blocked by Knights or Walls. I mean, we could get in here. I just don't think it's really worth it. Okay. If they got the Domri's ambush, that would kind of suck. They've just got another smasher. Oof. I will take the damage. Not sure if that's a good call or not, but it's the call we're going with. Let's Heartless Act this Rampart Smasher. Swing with the team. And, you know, just win the game. Let's win the game. 18 against the aggro deck. This deck's real. Chat, this is a real deck. I'm convinced at this point. This deck is tier worthy. We haven't come across the Demir list yet, actually. So I guess I should hold my tongue a little bit. But everything else it's gone up against has had a really decent matchup. So yeah, I think the Game 3 deck might be real. On the draw with a wonderful hand, so we're going to keep it. Got turn 2 Pride Mate. After that, we could either, if we draw a land, go with the Patrician, or just start triggering the Pride Mate. Let's go Plains Go. Now we have the third land. Our opponent's on what appears to be either Gates or Sanctums. We're in a pretty good spot either way, I would say. Eliminate and the Heartless Act for both of our opponent's threats is very nice to see. So I'm thinking I might go with the Patrician first. Although the Silver Smoke Ghoul is also pretty good. I just kind of want the attack trigger with the Patrician to pump the Pride Mate, honestly. So I think I might go with that. And pass the turn. Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. So now we want to find our Light of Hopes at this stage. Our opponent just straight up taps out. So I guess we're getting in. Pump the Pride Mate, and I think we'll just play the Silver Smoke Ghoul so we can keep that pressure going. My main concern at this point is the Red Sanctum, and it appears to be a very rightful concern. So if they can discard, they can only deal 2 at the moment with their Sanctum of Redness. The Sanctum of Shattered Heights. Discard a land or a shrine to deal X damage. X is the number of shrines you control. So not quite enough. We're going to go with the Revitalize so we can trigger all of our board state. And we got a Light of Hope as well, which is awesome. Definitely going to use that to kill the Red Sanctum. It's the only thing keeping our opponent from interacting with us here. And we've triggered the Silver Smoke Ghoul, so the block on there is pointless. We will just get that back anyway. And yeah, Ghoul comes back. Lightning Helix our opponent. They're at 9. Looking down on Death's Door at this stage. We've got the Consume to give +1/+1 to the Pride Mate. 2 life, plus the 1 on the Patrician there for the total of 3. No blockers. And yeah, absolutely solid demolition right here. Didn't stand a chance. Sweet. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. I highly recommend playing this deck. It is solid. We've had a few games where we got mana flooded and mana screwed, but I mean, they were few and far between overall. This deck is wonderfully consistent as well. I would say, you know, being mana flooded and mana screwed, I would still say that this deck is consistent. I ended up actually cutting a land between games. I've probably already mentioned that in the original deck tech on a little bit of a note, but yeah, just it's so much to do with this deck. Like several different ways of triggering this Aerie, and it's in good cards already as well. We don't really have to run bad cards to enable this. Primate does its thing, as you might expect. The patricians and the ghouls just seem to be activated every single turn, and our removal is absolutely solid, and we've even got reactionary plays to what our opponent's doing. I really like this deck. I highly recommend playing it. So yeah, if you do enjoy this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for some more content in the future. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new deck. I think I'll be playing a Prowess list tomorrow. Honestly, I thought the Prowess list was going to be better, but I don't know how you could top this. I honestly don't. But yeah, hopefully we can, and I'll see you tomorrow for that particular video. Good night, guys.